Syrian forces have entered the historic city of Palmyra from several directions, backed by a wave of airstrikes and artillery barrages. Army forces and their allies have retaken several neighborhoods in the western and the northern parts of the city from the ISIL. The neighborhoods of al-Amiriya, al-Mutaqaedeen, and al-Jameyat in the modern city of Palmyra have been cleared of the ISIL terrorists. According to the so-called Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the ongoing battle in Palmyra is the heaviest the three-week campaign has seen. The army has already captured the Palmyra citadel, which is a world-famous historic monument. Our correspondent Mohamad Ali joins us from Damascus to tell us more about this. Mohamad Ali, tell us more about the fighting, how big Palmyra is, and what parts of it are occupied right now by these terrorists, and how much of it has been freed.
Yes, the Syrian army, backed by national defense forces and its allies in Palmyra, have advanced significantly during the past 24 hours. They are taking control of three neighborhoods inside the city of Palmyra itself, particularly and namely al-Mutaqaedeen, al-Jameyat, and al-Amiriya. Those three neighborhoods make up the northwestern and southwestern parts of Palmyra itself. The advance of the Syrian army there comes following heavy fighting between the Syrian army and ISIL terrorists since the early hours of the morning, as ISIL terrorists have set tons of explosive devices and prepared many booby-trapped cars in order to block the Syrian army from advancing. It is a difficult battle, but the army seems to be determined to advance over there. Also, we have other news that ISIL terrorists in the countryside of Palmyra blew up the stairway of the ancient citadel of Palmyra and damaged many parts of it over there. This happens also and comes as the Syrian army is engaged in other battles in other parts and other axes of the city, particularly to the eastern part of Palmyra over there. Heavy fighting was also reported by the sources on the ground there, particularly in the vicinity of the airport of Palmyra. And also news from Palmyra say that many families of the ISIL terrorists have started running away towards Deir el-Zor, and this indicates that ISIL knows that ISIL terrorists know that they are definitely being defeated and they are suffering heavy losses. All of those advancements come following several days of fighting, which resulted in the Syrian army's control of strategic hilltops and mountains, which allowed the army troops to monitor the movement of ISIL terrorists there and strike their positions from the high grounds. And finally, if I have time, the Syrian army also has cut the supply line and road that links Palmyra with al-Raqqa. And in other news also, we know that there are the roads that link al-Raqqa with Deir el-Zor, which is a main supply line for ISIL in central and northern Syria, has been also cut by 5 military helicopters belonging to the Russian army.
Thank you very much for that, Mohamad Ali, our correspondent there, talking to us from Damascus.